Number 39.
39. Oh, we should probably do something for 40, right? Uh,
I mean,
or
yeah, our
50.
book club will be middle-aged.
Middle aged, yeah. 40 counts for something.
I mean,
You never did anything for 25.
no, we never. Technically, we shouldn't really do anything until 50.
No, what is the marriage thing? It's like
The marriage is 25 and
no,
50,
before
I'm
that. No.
sure.
There's like it goes 5,
Is
10.
there 40?
There's no. Doesn't it have like different little
Oh, well, every
phases?
year has
No, but
a gift item.
it goes like was 5, 10, 15. What is it? I forgot. There's like it's like some
Is there a
symbol.
saying?
No, there's like some symbol associated with it, or I'm not sure. I can't think of it right now. But no, it's like I think you do. It's way more. Like, you just go right to 50. That doesn't make sense. That's a lot. That's a long time.
40 is Ruby in
Oh, okay.
a Ruby anniversary. But it's not an anniversary. It's not even months. It's weeks.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
It's weeks.
we here. We've
We
been here.
here.
We here.
Mhm.
Thanks everyone for hanging out. This is like kind of squeak this one in, squeeze, not squeak,
Squeak it in.
squeak it in, squeak. Sneak this one in here. I got a little
There, that's the word.
sneak. There you go. Yeah, but yeah, I've been real busy with school, but we still want to keep the consistency. In the fall we'll probably do it a bi-monthly, right? Club.
Yeah.
But
Or monthly. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see
how
how
free.
it goes.
I'm doing all right.
But we do want to
a
keep
freak out
going.
moment. Yeah, we do want to keep going. It's fun. So great to have everyone here. So because of this, like, external circumstances, we decided to do one story today.
Although it is a long one.
It is a long one, yeah. And I've done this story many times. I wrote some papers on it. This is the first time I think Shiny's read the story.
Yes.
And it's from an author that we really like, James Baldwin.
I've read 2 James Baldwin books.
Yes, you have.
You've read more,
Yeah.
haven't you? Yeah.
Yes.
James Baldwin is so cool to me.
Yes, he's very cool.
We were
like
Go
look.
ahead.
We were looking. Right, you talking about like we were looking at photos.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about how we were looking at photos.
We're like, wow, this guy's pretty fly.
Yeah, yeah. Although he also takes some really goofy photos.
Yeah.
There was no middle ground. It was either the coolest dude you ever saw or just a big goober. There's
Yeah,
no in between.
Yeah. Oh, like a Grinch-like smile.
Yeah, yeah.
What was it that the Grinch in the cartoon
Where
when
it
he just
like
does
curls
a
up
yeah.
on the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure if anybody he could
So-
brandish that smile pretty well. The thing, especially on
Yeah,
the topics
that's
he
true.
talks about at length.
That is true.
But
Well,
let's tell us a
I
little bit
wrote
about
twice
James
as
Baldwin.
I wrote down twice as much about him that I do most of the authors we talk about, and there's still more that I could say, but I ran out of space. So his birth name was James Arthur Jones.
Mm.
He was born in Harlem in 1924, and he was born out of wedlock and never knew who his biological father was. So Jones was his mother's last name. But while he was still young, his mother married David Baldwin, who was a laborer and a preacher. And they had 8 children after James.
After James.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they had 9 kids altogether, but of course James was not biologically David's. David Baldwin was a character as well. I could have written a whole bunch about him because he did not like white people. He was born before emancipation. So he was technically born a slave. And he like carried that through his life.
Mm.
So even though he was living in Harlem, they were independent, not wealthy. They had 8 kids, so they didn't have a lot of money, but like he just kept that anger with him.
Yeah.
Um, but he moved several times as a child, but they always were in Harlem.
Mm.
And James saw, he always referred to David Baldwin as his father, not his stepfather,
Mm.
because he was the only father he knew. But they started to argue quite a lot because Baldwin really liked books, which his father did not see much point in, and because he had a lot of white friends. Because, like I said, his dad did not like white people at all.
Oh, so he kind of he took it as like it was an annoyance of him for him that his son
Yeah, it was
was
like a betrayal that his
befriending
son, yeah.
in his eyes the
But
enemy.
Baldwin had a really good reason for that because he had a teacher in school who was white who was really good to him, and so it kind of stopped him from ever being able to just hate white people because he had this one really good example in his childhood. I don't know that it was his only good example. I'm just saying he
Yeah.
had this
Yeah, that was
one
like one of the.
standout example that, he knew there was good in all people because of this one person. Um, so he also met two really influential people when he was in junior high. He met the first black graduate from Harvard. I guess he was at his junior high school for some reason. And also his English teacher was a poet, County Cullen.
Mm.
And the two of them together just really influenced him and kind of pushed his youth in a certain direction. Um, he ended up applying and getting into a predominantly white, it was Jewish and uh, like a kind of a high school that um, he ended up like getting into. And so it really changed his outlook again because he wasn't with the kind of kids in his neighborhood. He went to the school further away with
Mm.
predominantly white kids. But also at the time, Harlem, I think a lot of people think of Harlem as a black neighborhood, but at the time it was a very mixed neighborhood when he was growing up.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Um, while he was in high school, much to his dismay, he found out he was attracted to men more than women. Um, and he kind of, it didn't sit well with him at first.
Mm.
But as an adult, like a young adult, he started to get this distaste for America. Um, he was discriminated against. He was doing a lot of jobs because he felt a duty to help with the family because he was the eldest son.
Yeah.
So he was constantly working and giving money to his mother and his stepfather to help look after his siblings. Um, and the other white laborers that he was with looked down on him. They were mostly from the South. They'd come up north to work. And they looked down on him, one, because he was black, and two, they thought he was uppity because he was well read, well spoken. So
Mm.
they're like, who do you think you are? So
Yeah.
he had quite a lot of unhappiness around how he was treated. So he also struggled with this need to support his family, but you know his life's work was going to be writing, and he already kind of knew that in his early 20s. But he became so disillusioned with the prejudice that he was dealing with against black people in the USA that he moved to Paris when he was 24. He wanted to
Mm.
gain external perspective. That's what he said. It wasn't that, he wanted to leave America and never change it for the better. It's just he was so bogged down in the actual prejudice that he was living through that he just
Yeah.
needed to get out.
Which is also, I
So,
might add, is that's backdrop for one of his novels, Giovanni's Room, because the character goes from America to Paris as well.
yeah. a lot of his work was autobiographical in some way. Like none of it was exactly this is my life, but there were elements of
Mm-hmm.
his life in them.
Yeah.
He spent 9 years living in Paris. He had frequent trips to Switzerland, Spain, and even back to the US. He was a bit of a drifter, couch surfer. He ended up staying with various friends while he was in Paris. He got involved with the cultural radicalism of the left bank, wrote some essays,
Yeah.
was involved with that. He met many influential people in Paris, including, and I just wrote down the ones I recognized, so there were others that probably other people would recognize. John Paul Sartre, Max Ernst, and Truman Capote.
Mm.
Um, at this time, he also met Lucien, who was a Swiss boy of 17 when they met, but over time they became close and ended up becoming intimate. And James became slightly obsessed with him for a time. Um, but that eased, and then they remained friends for nearly 40 years.
Mm.
Um, but in 1953, Baldwin shifted from his mostly white friend group to hanging out with the black expats in Paris. And eventually that led him to return to the US to live
When was that? Was that like
in the 50s.
50s? So it hasn't even 60s. Haven't even. I guess like they were talking
No,
about it.
no. So then in the 60s and 70s. So this is the thing. Baldwin, I was telling Itchy about this. Baldwin defied the labels that were put on him.
Yeah.
People tried to see him as gay, and he said, I'm not gay, I'm queer. He had relationships with women and men. People tried to call him a civil rights activist, and he said he's not a civil rights activist. It's just that every person, every human should always be fighting for their cil rights. Like that's their lot in life to always be fighting for their civil rights. So he's like, I'm not a civil rights activist. I'm not, he just didn't want these labels on him. Um, I tied up what I wrote here, but I want to talk about his themes after. But I said he wrote novels and poetry,
Mm-hmm.
which I've always liked poets who write novels because they're just more beautiful to me. Even
Yeah.
though I'm not big on reading poetry, I think poets who write prose just
It
have
transfers
some
nicely.
extra, yeah, it transfers very nicely. Um, he spent the end of his life, like the later years of his life, back in France. He had a little house, and he ended up dying in 1987. But he is buried back in New York.
Oh,
He
I see. I see.
So he made it back to New York.
I always get. I'm always very impressed how like some of the like he's hanging out with revolutionary like people who Marxist thought like back
Hmm.
in the before it became because like the kind of revolution in the 60s that was more or less like it was very popular. It was like
Yeah,
it was cool to be a hippie probably in
yeah,
the late 60s and stuff like that. But like a lot of if he was kind of exploring those trajectories in the 50s. So it's like
yeah,
if he might have been like rubbing elbows with the mods and this the beat people. Um,
yeah.
so it's like you have. I always think if you're kind of going on that direction, who was like that too. Um, who was the one that the author redid? Who? Oh, now I can't think of her name. She had the autobiography, but it's called The Red Comet. Sylvia Plath. She was
Oh
another
yeah,
one. She was another one
yeah.
who
She
was
got she got involved with a bunch of the like influential thinkers of the time.
yeah. That would have been early on too, in
Yeah, early. Yeah,
40s and 50s. So just to even kind of to go down defy those labels, you have to be ahead of the curve, so to speak. Like he didn't really have the backing of it wasn't it didn't really shift into a national focus when he was probably
yeah,
thinking about that kind of civil rights and rubbing elbows with those kinds of people. But
yeah.
yeah, but I'm not surprised.
Um,
He's an intellectual to
yeah.
the fullest extent.
He you know how I said he kind of defies labels. His work really focused on something called the cage of reality.
Okay.
They're always fighting for their soul. The characters, the main characters, are always fighting for their soul against the limitations of the human condition.
Mm.
So, or against society
Yeah.
and prejudice. So he was always like he connects to many of his main characters because of that. You
Yeah.
know, they all have a little piece of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and like even he more connected with Giovanni in Giovanni's room than with the narrator, which I thought was interesting because it seemed like the narrator was more like him.
Yeah.
Um, but he connects with the character that's going through the struggle
Yeah.
of trying to find their place in society.
Yeah.
Um,
So, which is just, it's a good. I'm glad you prefaced that on that notion because it applies nicely to this story that we're going to do with these two brothers.
two brothers,
Yeah. So let's go into Sonny's Blues.
Sonny's Blues.
This is a part of like lots of syllabi. If you're reading a literature class, fiction writing workshop, they're gonna probably at one point you're gonna encounter Sonny's Blues. It's his most probably is up there seminal work. Reference a lots of criticism. On this, not criticism in a sense like criticizing it, but like this a lot of writing about this writing or a lot of like a literary thought went into this story. It's been revered by many, and it's like one of my favorites too. I think it holds up. But yeah, this is maybe you can set the stage, set the what kind of environment are we in with this story?
Well, we have a school teacher who gets his morning paper and reads that his brother has been arrested.
Yeah,
It wasn't really clear if he was arrested or if he was uh just picked up by the police because he ends up in rehab, I think. But um yeah, he hasn't been in contact with his brother for a while. And this is the first time he's kind of hearing about him again.
yeah. But it's like I didn't think like I'm sure because of the neighborhood he lives in, he's hearing things, but he's not like keeping tabs on his brother.
No, he hasn't spoken to him.
Yeah, but he's like hearing it in the peripheral, like
Yeah.
he's neighborhood guys are saying things, and
He,
and I
he
get
knows
that.
he
Yeah,
knows he's around. He knows
yeah,
he's around.
yeah. He's breathing.
Um, but he his reaction to reading this though was quite touching. He says, "I was scared for Sonny. He became real to me again." Um, and this is where, so as I said, I really love poets who write prose because he says, "A great block of ice settled in my belly and kept melting there slowly all day long while I taught my classes algebra. It was a special kind of ice. It kept melting, sending trickles of ice water all up and down my veins, but it never got less. Sometimes it hardened and seemed to expand until I felt my guts were going to come spilling out or that I was going to choke or scream. This would always be the moment when I was remembering some specific things Sonny had once said or done."
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I know, and it's like this. Even at this point in the story, you see, you could identify with this, with this. Not I wouldn't call it a struggle, but this scenario where you have someone in your family who's maybe is on drugs, or you see them as this, this person before the drugs. You know them as maybe, you look up to them, and but they lead a life that is hazardous. So sometimes like an arrest or at least it's like evidence that they're still alive.
Yeah.
Even though it's like
And
you're concerned, but you're like, oh, okay, thank God. It's
yeah.
he's
But
still breathing.
Sonny's also his younger brother
Yeah, yeah.
by
So there's
quite
like
a few years. They're not close in age. I
no,
think
no.
it says there's 8 years between them or something. So he's not exactly like a brother. He's kind of like,
It
a
was like a
kid to look
son.
after.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um and he thinks to himself that, Sonny's okay. He's not a bad guy. He's not
no,
a bad, he never saw him as a bad kid. He just he just got in with the wrong crowd and he
yeah,
got involved in the wrong thing.
yeah,
Um but I really identified with this because I very often have shit going on in my brain while I have to live my life like there's nothing going on. And that's what this guy is going through. You know, he found out that something's going happened with his brother, and he's thinking about that all day while he's trying to do his job, while
yeah.
he's trying to teach kids about algebra.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. I even like that physical feeling that's being described. I understand that. And it
Yeah,
really like resonated with me, even though I don't have a sibling and I don't have a sibling who does drugs, certainly. But I know what it's like to have your mind be on
yeah.
something else.
And there's also like that. There's a pressure to being the older sibling, having to
Mm,
like I said, you're watching because you're the elder. You're watching the little, your younger sibling. You want them to be okay. There's some societal like pressure too. You're
yeah.
supposed to be the better influence, or you're supposed to be the overseer.
Hmm.
So that's happening. So like as we go on, what happens now? Like we
So
he
the school day ends, and there's a little bit of color around the teachers trying to leave the school without getting harassed by the students, which I thought was funny. But then he finally comes out of the building, and it's interesting how how the narrator describes this. They say, "I saw this boy standing in the shadow of a doorway, looking just like Sonny."
mm,
But it wasn't Sonny. It was a friend of Sonny's.
yeah,
So it was actually someone who he knew and who, to be frank, isn't a boy. It's an adult. But, again, it was Sonny's friends who he was probably younger than
yeah,
our narrator. And, but it's someone he always kind of knew about. I get the
yeah,
impression this guy's always around the neighborhood,
yeah,
and because he kind of knows who he is, he's not somebody who's well off. He's given him money before, just
yeah.
here's a buck or two just to get by. Um, so he's kind of used to this guy, but this is the first time he's shown up at the school. Like this
Yeah,
guy was
yeah,
obviously seeking him out this time. It wasn't just
yeah.
that he bumped into him
And
in the neighborhood.
and I think that because you live, I mean, this is Harlem, so you
Yeah.
live in this. I think that maybe for African Americans, you have people that have different choices, but you still are coming from a neighborhood. People have different ambitions. So
Hmm.
it's like that's because he's a school teacher, and he I think he has some military background. He has a military background and things like that. Like he's still of the neighborhood, so he could go down the street and maybe the people that were maybe around Sonny, he knows that type, and he picked this
Hmm.
person out as like, okay, it's not like he's looking down at this individual. It's just more of someone of his, like
No.
he's aware of all these, you just know different people. It's not like you,
Yeah.
if you go around here, it's like there's homeless people in Florida, and
Yeah.
it's but I don't like sometimes if you live in a small neighborhood, that person that fell off could have been someone you went to school with, that this from a long
Yeah.
time ago,
Yeah.
and it doesn't you don't see yourself above them or anything. It's like he just someone that just came up,
Things
and
just didn't go his way.
things didn't go his way. Yeah,
Um, I think as well, what strikes me about this interaction is that he seemed fine with this guy and like always gave him money and stuff like that. But when he sees him after knowing what happened to Sonny, he hates him for a moment because in
Mm.
his mind, this guy's the sort of guy that gets into trouble, not Sonny.
Yeah.
And he asks him, "How come they didn't get you?"
Mm. Yeah.
So I think there's a little resentment that this guy's standing in front of him and not his brother.
Yeah. Why are you, why is my brother in jail and you're still walking around? Well,
Yeah,
that's more of your life.
yeah,
Would you all switch?
yeah. But this guy's like, I'm too smart to like. I stay away from that kind of stuff. Like I'm not involved in that. Um, and I feel for this guy as well because he's actually come to the narrator because he's Sonny's brother, because he cares about Sonny,
Yeah.
and he's come to this guy to say, "What are you gonna do about it? How are you gonna help Sonny?"
So I don't know. I always when I'm reading this again, I always get different perspectives. I feel like his anger, the narrator's anger, is pretty much at himself.
I think
Because
so.
like if I got this guy from the street wondering about how I'm going to handle this with my brother, like who am I? I'm the like
Well,
if this person in within the in the neighborhood knows more than me, what kind of brother am
mhm.
I?
Yeah. And yeah, it's very much an indictment on him for not
Yeah.
being in contact with
When
Sonny.
people feel
And if he
guilt,
was,
they'd lash out.
well, and it yeah, and if he was in contact with Sonny, maybe Sonny wouldn't have ended up in this situation. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
if somebody's ill and they have addiction problems, they have addiction problems, and you can't say that you helping them would have made any difference. But he'd be more likely to overcome it with a good support system,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he hasn't had that from his brother.
Yeah. So like yeah, exactly. So there's a mixture of feelings here. There's a little guilt,
Mm. Yeah,
um, fear.
yeah.
So like what does he say to the narrator? This kind of this neighborhood person.
Um, he said, well, so he says, "What are you gonna do?" I mean, about Sonny, and he the narrator says that I haven't seen Sonny for over a year. I'm not sure I'm gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, what can I do?
Yeah.
Um, but the guy says, "I'm surprised at Sonny though. I thought Sonny was a smart boy. I thought he was too smart to get hung."
Hmm.
And it's interesting to me. I know I just said interesting, but it is very
You got
interesting to
two
me
lashes.
that
Three.
it's very interesting to me that
Four.
this guy, stop it. That this guy wants he wants to help Sonny, partially because he's so shocked that Sonny ended up in this situation.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Like
think he should have been
well,
there.
I think the narrator, the brother, older brother, thinks doesn't think Sonny is in that life either. So you
Yeah.
have two people who are kind of saying like this is not his world. He shouldn't have gone on this path, or like of all the people around here, like this is not this situation for this character is
Hmm.
not. I didn't like some people that you expect to kind of go down that road, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Both of them are a little. They're saying that they don't want. He's too smart for this. He's almost like he's too innocent for this. Why is it? He shouldn't be like borderline.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be up against this world. Like it shouldn't be near it, but he's there. And this is
Yeah.
what happened. And reality's reality. He's in jail.
Yeah. And so I think the narrator has some guilt for not looking after his brother, but this friend of Sonny's also has some guilt.
Yeah, yeah,
Because he says, "When I saw the papers this morning, the first thing I asked myself, was if I had anything to do with it. I felt sort of responsible.
Mm.
Now, is did he give Sonny heroin at any point? Why
Yeah, we
does he
don't know.
feel
Yeah,
this guilt?
yeah,
But he says, I never give Sonny nothing. But a long time ago, I come to high school and Sonny asked me how it felt.
yeah.
And he told him it felt great. So he feels
He like
this
his
responsibility
yeah,
because
yeah.
he might have given him the idea that doing drugs felt good. And that's why Sonny wanted to do them too.
And I get that. It's not like you have to be to influence somebody doesn't mean like you have to give them the drugs, but you could be the
Mm.
one that took them to the party that the drugs
Mm-hmm.
are at. You
Yeah.
could you could have brought that person in an environment that maybe was out of their element.
Yeah.
So it's like and like yes, they made this free will. They made their own decisions. They wanted
Mm-hmm.
to do drugs, or they or sell drugs, or but it's like if you brought me with a bunch of criminals that were doing, and if I was hard up for money, and then so a friend of mine takes me around all these people who have like it's like have they make money in nefarious ways. Like, yeah, I would so that person would be like, man, I should have done that because I knew that he was hard up, and I put him
Mm-hmm.
near people who are not above doing something illegal.
Yeah.
I know I didn't. He made the decisions on his own, but I primed the environment for something bad. So that's what I feel like
Yeah.
he's.
So I had an experience where one of my best friend's mom is an alcoholic, and she was visiting her friend, and I was with them, and or her daughter, my friend, and I was with them, and we went to a bar, and I was worried about this. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
is it okay? Should we? I mean, we can go someplace else. It doesn't have to be a bar. I don't need to be at a bar. Like, we could go anywhere else. And her mom bought us drinks. And I was like, is this okay? I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be like, I was really concerned that we were like draping temptation across this woman's path.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend was like, no, my mom's cool. She's been sober for a long time. She's happy if we're able to drink and enjoy ourselves. It doesn't bother her. And I struggled with it more than anybody else did,
Yeah,
because I was
yeah.
like, oh,
Was that
I
like the
don't want to be
catalyst?
like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I get
Um,
that.
so I kind of see it that way for this guy coming up and being
Yeah.
like, did I do this? Did I have something to do with this?
Yeah.
Um,
Give me a page directive here just to make sure that we're on the same. I'm looking
page
at the
21.
21. Okay, I'm just looking at the PDF, and for those looking at the
Yeah.
PDF to follow along as well. We didn't put
Yeah.
that on there. It's in the Discord, but
It's in
or it's in the stories. Oh yes. Oh,
there you go.
all good. Yeah, for
Uh,
those who want to follow along,
um,
we're on page 21. Um,
it's labeled as 21. It's probably not 21 in the PDF, but
yeah, exactly. So I'm actually page 3 in the PDF.
yeah.
So, anyways,
Yeah, so I think on page 21, what they end up talking about is the narrator really wants to know what happens next. So Sonny's been picked up for it, but what happens next?
yeah.
And this guy, this friend of Sonny's is streetwise. He knows how it goes. He's like, they'll, you know, they'll pick him up. Uh, they'll probably try to get him dried out, and then they'll release him,
Mm,
and that's it. And he's like, "What do you mean that's it?" And he says, "Listen, they'll let him out, and then it'll start all over again." That's what I mean.
Oh, I see.
And the narrator says, "You mean they'll let him out and then he'll just start working his way back in again? You mean he'll never kick the habit? Is that what you mean?" The brother seems to have like this desperation. He doesn't want this to be the life of Sonny.
No, no, no. But it,
And
but it
there's
is, but is,
fear.
but there's a. This is the guy. This is the friend is not lying. I mean, this happens.
No, the
This
friend's
is
telling him how it
how it
generally
is.
goes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But I think the point that could change everything is if his brother looks out for him.
yeah.
He's much more likely to overcome this with support.
Usually,
Um,
usually,
it doesn't always work.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes the sickness is bigger than
yeah.
everything else.
For those who
But
watch Intervention,
yeah, but he stands a better chance if his brother's there for him.
yeah, yeah,
And I think in a way, this guy, this friend of Sonny's, is maybe coming to check in and push the brother a little bit towards providing that support.
yeah, yeah. This friend, this guy in the street, yes, he has his, he has his own demons, but I think that
Mm-hmm.
he has enough heart. He has a good heart, and he knows that hey,
Mm-hmm.
like I see, if Sonny wasn't a person, if Sonny was a person that you just it was no hope,
Mm-hmm.
I think people like that who are around those type of individuals know when it's a lost cause. Like this that's it. You can't
Yeah.
change that. But if it's somebody that can that may be over their head, but they still have hope. I think something trigger like it's something triggers in the mind of somebody who knows what the street looks like, and if that doesn't if they don't see the street or that life in somebody, they're gonna say something. They're gonna say, "Hey, it like I know I'm like this. He don't need to be like this."
Yeah. There's hope for him. He
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
saved, as it
Which is
were.
beautiful. It's a beautiful moment in the story early
Mm-hmm.
on. Um,
Yeah. And it does cause the brother to reach out. He doesn't right away though.
no,
Sonny's obviously off getting looked after, dried out, and the only reason that the brother kind of remembers to touch base with Sonny is his little girl dies. So he and his wife have 3 kids
mm,
based on what else like they have 2 sons and a daughter. And the daughter, who's only like 2 years old, dies.
yeah,
And it makes him think about Sonny. So he writes to Sonny, um, and Sonny writes back. And Sonny asks him to be there for him when he gets out.
oh, okay. I kind of forgot
Yeah, he
about that
says, if
part.
I tell you when I'm coming to New York and if you could meet me, I sure would appreciate it.
Yeah, which is I
So,
don't know. Do you feel like that's a little? I feel like when someone says that, they're hiding some information. Like they're hiding their. If someone's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be here. Would you be able to pick me up?" It's
um,
or like
I felt like it was, I, I felt like maybe Sonny didn't feel like he could ask for it, but he really needed it.
yeah. But I'm saying like maybe I'm just hearing it right. Like so you're saying his brother said yes, I'll come to see you, but you have to meet me here.
No, 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 no. I'm saying Sonny wrote him. Um, they talked about lots of things,
Yeah.
but then he said, um, I try not to think about what's going to happen when I get outside again. Sometimes I think I'm going to flip and never get outside, and sometimes I think I'll come straight back. So his brother's already worrying about what happens when he gets out of rehab and goes
Okay.
back into the real world.
I see. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, but and he gets quite graphic. He says, "I'll tell you one thing though, I'd rather blow my brains out than go through this again." So, um,
The coming down.
his withdrawals were
Yeah.
not fun for him. He did
Yeah.
not enjoy them. Um, it was a really horrible experience. And so then you know, he's already got, like, it's clearly on the cards for him to come out of rehab. That is something that he's already looking
Okay,
to.
I see. Yeah.
And he says, if I tell you when I'm coming to New York and if you could meet me, I sure would appreciate it. So he's looking for that support when he
Yeah.
comes out
And
on
because
the other side.
exactly. So it was almost like he's putting like a roadblock himself. Like if he steps out into the world, and it's almost like the rehab uh, has parameters, and like when coming out of rehab, you kind of it's a little bit I bet it's overwhelming just to have all this
Mhm.
freedom. So it's like just to have, hey, I'm gonna right when I get out of rehab, I'm gonna be here. Like I'm
Mhm.
anticipating that I may freak out. I'd rather have
Mhm.
someone to meet me there so I could give me
Yeah.
some, some
Well,
control over it or have
and also
semblance of control.
it's been a while, right? He probably
Yeah.
doesn't have a job, he doesn't have a place to stay.
Uh huh.
His brother's the only family he's got cuz his
Yeah.
parents have passed. So he needs his brother in this moment. He needs, his brother has a house that probably has an empty room in it right now,
Uh huh.
So it's it's what he needs right now, and I kind of commend him for asking for it.
Yeah. No, that's good. It shows that he wants to make he knows himself. He wants to make a change. He's trying to
Yeah,
make yeah.
he doesn't want to go backwards.
No, he doesn't want to go backwards. Yeah. So where are we at now?
Page 23. There's a
20.
bit I'd like to read because,
Sure.
again, it speaks to the beauty of Baldwin's words. The 7 years difference in our ages lay between us like a chasm. So this is after he's gone to meet his brother. His brother's come out, he's gone to meet his brother. This is like them meeting
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
He's picked him up. And it's not it's not an easy coming together, It's almost like two strangers meeting. Um And yeah, that's what he says. The 7 years difference in our ages lay between us like a chasm. I wondered if these years would ever operate between us as a bridge. I was remembering, and it made it hard to catch my breath, that I had been there when he was born, and I
Mm.
had heard the first words he had ever spoken. When he started to walk, he walked from our mother straight to me. I caught him just before he fell, when he took the first steps he ever took in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like that's another of that responsibility he feels to look after his brother, and what is can maybe looking at the fall that he had when he was a child, when he took his like now he's falling in a different way,
He's
falling
taking first steps post
towards
drug addiction.
yeah. So it's really cool, really beautiful how Baldwin you know put those two memories together as like he's getting his footing in the world again, just like he was when he was a
Hmm.
baby. But then he asks about
And
his
if you,
wife and all that, and that's
yeah, he asks about his wife and how she's doing and the boys.
yeah,
Um, and I think our narrator is trying really hard to connect with Sonny
yeah,
because he says that the boys are anxious to see their uncle. He's trying to make Sonny feel wanted. I
yeah,
think that's lovely. Um, so they head to the house. And his brother kind of has these memories of Sonny. He says, "Do you still want to go to India?" And Sonny's kind of shocked that he remembers this detail. Um, because it was, when he was a kid still, he was only 14 and he was like obsessed with going to India.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but they're having a nice drive. Sonny has a request for them to drive along the side of the park because he's been away for a while. He wants to see town. And they end up driving through the place where they grew up.
yeah,
And the narrator mentions how both of them were trying to get away from their childhood. Um,
Yeah. They kind of yeah they
for
reflect on how almost like they reflect on how they the which is a trajectory is going to be a theme here.
hmm
How both of them managed to come up in a neighborhood like this. Like what like the decisions they made. This kind of like, going through this neighborhood just conjures up all those
yeah.
questions and memories and mixed with maybe some
Yeah, it was
regret
the
and
place where they were formed, you know?
yeah.
That talks about how, the stores where they stole food, the houses they'd grown up in, the basements where they first tried to have sex.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all of these moments of their childhood and their teen years are all wrapped up in this place. But the
Yeah.
place is changing.
Yeah.
He's saying that, most of the houses that they were in as kids are gone now.
Yeah. Or they've been like their drug houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
How things change. Um but I feel like there's also like another conversation happening. Like if we're brothers and we had these same experiences, how come I ended up like me and you ended up like you?
Yeah.
If like that's like the larger conversation that not really I don't know like as a if that's your little brother and you're trying to give them you don't want to come across too you don't want to like be didactic and
Yeah.
moralizing to because he just got out of rehab. He doesn't want to push him. I'm sure like the brother is like I don't want to push him away. Like I can't sit there
Yeah.
and tell him why are you doing this? Like what's wrong with you? Like we need to get your life like because that
But
might it
I
might
think that,
spiral him back into that world.
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But I also think that speaks to that 7 years, that's that chasm between them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think that's also the difference between the narrator ending up as a high school teacher
Yeah.
and Sonny ending up as a drug addict. Like, not because he was younger, but maybe because he was younger going through the things that they went through. You
Mhm.
know, when the hardships hit, the narrator was 7 years older,
Yeah.
7 years more life experience, being
Yeah.
able to deal with that. Um, they get to the housing project where the narrator now lives. But it's a newer housing project. But again, there's just this description that I love. A few days after it was up, it seemed uninhabitably new. Now, of course, it's already run down. It's like an instant thing. They
Yeah. Yeah.
they move in and it goes from brand new pristine to a
Yeah.
bit of a tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um but there's another, he's bringing uh Sonny home. They're walking through this like area outside his house, and again there's all these little really phrases that like really catch my attention. He says, "The moment Sonny and I started into the house, I had the feeling that I was simply bringing him back into the danger he had almost died trying to escape."
Yeah.
But, they get into the house. Um, I'm about to go on to page 26.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they get into the house and Isabel is really welcoming, the
Yeah.
narrator's
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
You know, it turns out that this is maybe just exactly what Sonny needs.
Yeah. Some structure.
Some structures, some
Well,
security,
like love, but love in the structure too. I'm sure, like rehab
love for
provided
sure.
structure, but I don't know if the love was in there. You have, you're dealing with doctors and other people who you're just kind of going through the motions. You're coming down off drugs and things like that. Yes, the structure was helpful, but I think that the love part of it was missing.
Yeah. And Isabel does a great job of connecting with Sonny.
Yeah.
The narrator almost seems a little jealous of it. He's not. He's happy that that Isabel can give Sonny that, but it's very, like, oh, she's making him laugh. She's not forcing it either. I think that was really important. She seemed to be genuine in how she was connecting with him.
Yeah, yeah. This I want to like to comment on this part too because I feel um it's hard to I know that feeling when you have like it's I get it with my mom sometimes a lot where it's like it's hard to hang out with my mom because she's still trying to be a mom, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
and I see somebody else like interacting with her, and it's like this the dynamic is not there. Obviously, like that it's not her son or daughter. So like it's like more it's light. Everything is easy. I guess it's like it's a different kind of energy that I see when my
Mm-hmm.
mom with somebody else, and I'm like, man, I wish I could kind of get that side of my mom because when
Yeah.
I have an interaction with my mom, it's always like some, I guess, moralizing or like it becomes like a lesson or like okay, you need to do this and that, and she's still like it's very instructional, um, and it's like it's hard to that kind of have a relationship where it's just this chill, doesn't have
Yeah.
the pressure of like she's still trying to maybe give me some advice or it's just hard. I guess so when you see somebody else have that like a different version, I guess I'm sure like like the narrator is can't talk to Sonny, so he can't like erase the fact that he wants Sonny to do well, and it's like I think it enables or it gets him to a point he really can't talk to him in a
Yeah.
calm, not in a calm manner, but in a way that they maybe talked when they were kids. Now he has to talk to them as warnings and where his wife is like just making him laugh, doing something. He's no pressure. I don't think this he could ever escape that. The narrator can't escape being worried about Sonny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's go on.
Well, and this is the thing. At the top of the next page, it's that he was trying to remember everything he'd heard about dope addiction, and he couldn't help watching Sonny for signs.
Mm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
he wasn't doing it out of malice. Um, he was dying to hear him tell him he was safe. He he's worried about his brother. He would love it if his brother would just say, "Don't worry, man. I'm not going to do that shit again. It's all
Mm.
okay. I'm safe." But Sonny can't do that. You can overcome your addiction, but it's always there. Um and I think that the narrator's just seeing that this is something he's going to worry about.
Yeah, and I also think that his brother's a lot more pragmatic about things. He's not. He loves his brother. He loves Sonny, but I think that when you know somebody who has a drug addiction, you look at them different. Like if you invite, like I don't know. I'm not always open to inviting people that I know that have substance abuse problems to my house because
Mhm.
I'm looking at them like they're gonna steal something because I don't know when they're gonna they could go off the
Well,
handle.
because that's absolutely
Something
something
that
that
could happen.
happens.
And I don't think like they're doing
Yeah.
it and they're not doing it in a way it's not because they're stealing it because they don't care about me. It's like that there's something comes over that person. It's not them anymore. So like
No, it's the
it's
addiction.
the addiction. So they have no problem stealing from their own mother. So I think that
Yeah.
the narrator is just kind of still has to frame it that okay, this is my brother, but he's also has this addiction that
Yeah.
makes him unrecognizable in ways. He may act or do,
Tony says the demon,
yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah. So he has to if his brother's staying here or spending a lot of
mhm.
time, he has to, he still has to. He doesn't want the facade of love I mean, not that it's fake, but like like have to see through some of that facade and to see him as an addict as well, just so he could protect his family and things like that. So it's a lot. It's a lot to think
Yeah.
about. It's
But I think the biggest part of that is his concern for Sonny. I think, of course, he has two sons and a wife that he needs to look out for.
yeah.
But I think he has very genuine concern for that. He
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
want
No, no, he doesn't.
Sonny to OD and to lose his life. He
Yeah, yeah.
wants Sonny safe, very much so. Um, and he kind of has a flashback, if thinking about his mother and father, and how his father, uh, you know, doesn't his mother was suggesting that they move to a neighborhood that would be safe for their sons, and his father's like, no place is safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I think we get a little bit this father, having read, like into Baldwin's father. I feel like he used his father here
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
this father. This distrust and paranoia that for David Baldwin at the end of his life was very paranoid. James
Yeah.
Baldwin's father, very paranoid. And I get a little taste of this with the
Yeah.
father in this story.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, the father has a hard time connecting with Sonny because he loves Sonny so much and he's so scared for him. It's like when a kid's like, why is my mom always so hard on me? Or
Yeah.
why is this teacher always so hard on me? And it's like, well, that teacher can see your potential
Yeah.
and wants you to meet it. And it's the same thing. He loves Sonny. Their father loves Sonny so much that it's almost like he can't love him on the surface. He's always hard on him. He's always, arguing with them because he's scared for him. He wants
Well,
so much for him.
Sonny, like we're learning the people hearing this now. We're learning. We're getting this. Sonny is a this sensitive being.
Yeah, he's a quiet boy.
Yeah, and when somebody, especially like I guess like in this a masculine sense, you see your son as this quiet, innocent person, and you're like, I got to toughen him up because the world's gonna spit him
Hmm.
out. So
Yeah,
like I identify with that. Like you have to like in his case, like the father's trying like I got to make him tough because if I don't, someone's gonna take advantage of him. So I love him, but I can't coddle him in a way
yeah,
because I need
yeah,
him to I need to break this from him a little bit or give him round it out at least like
yeah,
harden the shell because right now he's too pure and
yeah.
in this neighborhood it's not good it's not
It's
a good
not. It's not a good combination.
not a good cocktail to have
Yeah. So, we find out that uh, his dad died. Um, or their dad died. And the narrator's home on leave, and his mother is trying to, explain how Sonny and their father were actually quite similar,
mm,
even though his dad was loud and rough, and Sonny was quiet and soft, if you will. Um, they both had this like need for privacy, for their own privacy.
mm-hmm.
Um, and the mother like really entreats the narrator to look after Sonny. She's like, you need to be there for him. Um, and
Yeah,
you know, he he hears it, he takes it in, but he also still, continues his life.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
because yeah the narrator's on its he has life plans and things like that and and even the mom is like, you gotta like be some kind of a pillar in Sonny's life,
Yeah.
because if you're not there, then he's susceptible to go down the, maybe it doesn't even say a wrong path, but just like a path that he may not be able to come back from. Little
Yeah.
foreshadowing on
Yeah.
the mom's part
And
is.
yeah, and there's another memory within a memory. The memories, when the narrator has these memories, they kind of all get mixed up, and he even mentions that they're all getting mixed up because when his mother talks to him, that's the last time he sees her alive as well.
Yeah,
He's in the army, so he's
yeah, things
not home a
yeah,
lot right
yeah,
now.
yep, yep, that's true. And
Um,
there's a little guilt, there's
and
some
he
guilt with that too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely has that. But going into the army probably gave him money that he could send home to his mother and to help with Sonny. And you know, it mixes in his head with this memory of his parents having church people over and they're like playing tambourines and singing and
Yeah, yeah,
um they're the children that are in the room are forgotten, he says. They're like the adults are having their conversations and nobody's thinking about the kids anymore.
yeah,
Um, Maybe some kid is falling asleep in one of their parents' laps. Maybe there's a kid on the rug sleeping, but these people aren't really thinking about those kids anymore. They just have disappeared for them.
yeah,
But the narrator says that the children know what's going on. They're staying quiet because if they bring attention to themselves, it's going to change everything.
mm,
So they're just lying low. They're just
yeah,
being quiet and letting the old folks that talk,
yeah, yeah,
and letting things happen. Um, but the narrator is thinking about this memory and then he's thinking about the fact that the last time he spoke to his mother he was restless to get away from her. He
mm,
was meant to go meet Isabel. They weren't married yet at the time, but he was hoping that they would be, so he wanted to like have it out with her, and
yeah, yeah,
straighten out everything between them so that they can get married and start their life together.
yeah, yeah.
um I think he has guilt about that as well. I think our narrator has a lot of guilt about choices he's made.
And he's all the fact that he has this like these different, he's piecing together all these memories, shows that is like it's like it's evident, it gives evidence of his absence. Like if he
Hmm.
can't string out like the reason, yeah, he, because he's not there all the time. He's getting his memories are starting to mesh into each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's, if he was there, I mean, yes, he may have had been able to support his family, or maybe better himself by going to the army.
Hmm.
The sacrifice was not being physically there, which had, I
Yeah.
feel like, had some consequences, especially with Sonny.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, because his mother, that like the whole point of this conversation for his mother is she wants the narrator to be there for him, to look out for him,
yeah,
because she knows that now that it's just her and Sonny, that if something happens to her, that's it. Sonny's on his own.
yeah,
And the narrator kind of like pushes her concern away. He says, "Ain't nothing gonna happen to you or Sonny. Sonny's all right. He's a good boy and he's got good sense."
yeah. And that's on
But
page 20,
28.
28. Yeah, so I'm seeing that. Yeah, yeah, no, it's again like a little bit of guilt,
Hmm.
overconfident that Sonny's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Um,
But the mother has a story to
yeah,
tell
the important one
that,
too.
to point out that she says it ain't a question of his being a good boy, nor of his having good sense. It ain't only the bad ones, nor yet the dumb ones that get sucked under. Your daddy once had a brother. You didn't never know that, did you?
Yeah, he didn't.
He's
Yeah,
like, no, I never knew that. And she starts to tell him about the brother. And she said, that you never saw your father cry, but I did. Lots. Like all through the years, I saw your father cry. Um, and when the narrator asks, he says it's the first time he ever saw his mother look old.
mm,
And she says that the brother got killed. He was just a little younger than the narrator was at the time she was talking to him. Um, he was a fine boy, uh, maybe a little full of the devil, but didn't mean nobody no harm. He had a job in a mill, uh, and he would perform on Saturday nights, go to dances.
yeah,
He would sing because he had a fine voice. They were just two brothers out on the town living their life, having a good time. Um, and his father's brother goes to they're walking home, I guess,
yeah,
and or coming out of the club that they were in, and the brother goes to have a piss behind a tree. And his father was just kind of laughing at him because apparently he had a guitar on his back and it was making noise, clanging and stuff like that. Um, and then his father heard a car,
yeah,
and the car was full of drunk white men.
yeah,
And, both the father and the brother were a little drunk themselves. And the brother turns around to come back, and the guys in the car like yell at him because they see him, and then they hit him. And
yeah,
it looks intentional.
yeah,
Um, and by the time the narrator's and Sonny's father gets to his brother, he's just it's not a pleasant sight. He's there on the ground and the guitar's all smashed up. And he it leaves Sonny and the narrator's father kind of bitter.
yeah,
And for the rest of his life, it says, till the day he died, he weren't sure, but that every white man he saw was the man that killed his brother.
yeah, yeah.
So again, this is me placing something there that maybe not there, but it seems like, very like Baldwin's actual father.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And maybe his actual father was definitely coming out of slavery, having that whole
Yeah.
experience. This experience is put on this character as like
Hmm.
the real father's hatred for the society and white people. This was the catalyst for this brother's hate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
putting that energy in a
Um,
different way.
yeah. But uh the mom says uh that she's not trying to scare the narrator by telling him this. She just wants him to realize that just because Sonny's a good boy, just because it seems like he's going to make the right decisions, that not everything that happens to you is your fault.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Sometimes
just
this,
because just because if you and this is thematic because just because you you did everything right in life doesn't mean that you're
yeah,
shielded from something bad. I mean, that's like look at look at the brother, the narrator.
hmm
He goes to the army. He's a school teacher.
hmm
On paper he did it. They got the house. On paper everything is right, and they still had
hmm
the daughter died. So it's like
yeah,
it can't you can't hide from that. It doesn't matter what you do. So I think that's what the mom was trying to get at, where it's sometimes it's not even about drug addiction. It's just that's the way the world goes. And
Yeah.
an innocent person, like the brother didn't do anything to antagonize these people that hit him. He was just out there
Yeah.
going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So the wrong
And
place.
the the narrator, to his credit, is quite shook by this story,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, Mama, I didn't know, because the mother was kind of supporting the father emotionally for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
says she's glad that, her husband went before her because he wouldn't have survived without her. And she doesn't say that to be boastful. She just knows that she was holding him up,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
emotionally. And for her, she knows that it was right that he went first because he didn't have to live without her. Um,
Yeah,
but this
and
is
also,
also why. Go ahead.
yeah, for the narrator too is like it's an example of maybe like your perceptions are wrong, that you thought your father was this pillar,
Mm-hmm.
um, unemotional and moved first, but I'm telling you that I saw your father cry. I saw your father
Yeah.
was emotional wreck. I held him together. Maybe
Yeah.
on the outside he displayed himself one way to you, but I knew how he was. So
Yeah.
like don't think your judgment is final.
Yeah. Well, and she tells him like it is, She says, "Oh, honey, there's a lot you don't know, but you're going to find out." Um she says, "You've got to hold on to your brother," she said, "and don't let him fall, no matter what it looks like is happening to him, and no matter how evil you gets with him.
Yep.
You got to be evil with him many a time, but you don't forget what I told you, you hear?"
Yeah.
And he says, "I won't forget," I said. "Don't you worry, I won't forget. I won't let nothing happen to Sonny."
Mm-hmm.
And yet he did, because you can't control everything.
No, no, no. But look, now it's like kind of going back to reality. Like, okay, this is post rehab.
Mhm.
We're trying to. Um, I know what I need to do now. I'm going to be more involved. I'm going to be a presence, and this could be maybe like a second chance. Like maybe I've when I was in the army or I was doing my other stuff, and I was so busy getting my life together that I forgot to look after his. And
Yeah. Well, before we come back to reality, there's actually a little bit where you know, what do we when we go to the point where his mother dies.
yeah,
Um and by the time his mother dies, he's married to Isabel, and now they have to decide what to do about Sonny. But Sonny's old enough to kind of have his own thoughts on things.
yeah,
And Sonny wants to be a musician.
yeah. This is
And his brother just doesn't understand. He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And
yeah,
he's like, "I want to play jazz." Uh and his brother's like, can that even be a real thing?" Um and Sonny's like, "Yeah. Yeah, this is what I want to do." And his brother kind of sees it as beneath him.
yeah,
Like, you can do you can do anything. Why do you want to, hang out in a dingy club playing music?
yeah,
Um, he sees them as, what, quote, good time people. That's what his dad would have considered them as. You know, Jazz is a thing you do for fun. It's not a thing you do as a living.
yeah.
Um,
And again, this is like that disconnect with his brother, with the narrator.
mhm.
The narrator is lived his life in a way like he really bought into the whole American dream. I'm gonna get my house. I'm gonna do this. I probably gonna go to the army because it's structure, and I'll have I'll come out with some kind of pension, and it'll prepare me to do this. I'm gonna be a teacher, and it's like I feel like he's doing everything you're supposed, like what he feels he's just supposed to do. And so like, and Sonny is this like this almost like this angelic, following the muse type of person. That's like so foreign to the
Mm-hmm.
narrator. He wants to play,
Yeah.
and that's why a lot of people they even they associate an occupation. It has to align with money. Like, oh, you can't make
Yeah.
money doing that. What you mean you're just doing it just to do it? Like that's, and I think a lot of people they 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 sometimes they get aggressive when they hear people like if I like I'm going for English because I love I'm going for my master's and I love literature and I want to enlighten myself and all that. But we're like, what are you going to do for a job? What are you going to do for a job? Or what are you going to do for this or that? And it's like by even you suggesting that you just like something to like something, it
Mhm.
threatens the person that's saying it, their worldview.
Yeah.
Like
But
he's doing it. He did all these things in life the way you're supposed to, and his
yeah.
brothers wants to play jazz. Is like what? Like it's that it kind of breaks his brain. It's like a paradigm shift. Yeah, they feel like
Yeah.
that. Like Tony says, they feel threatened.
They feel
Yeah,
threatened.
yeah,
But
and
I will say that to his credit, the narrator doesn't totally push back on it.
no, no, no.
He
But it's
says
still, yeah,
he says, I'll go out and get all the records and I'll listen and I'll educate myself. And
yeah,
he's a little bit, pushing back because the way Sonny's talking about it is like, oh my God, dude. Because he suggests that maybe Sonny wants to be like Louis Armstrong, and Sonny's like, oh God, that old guy? No, I want to be like Charlie Parker. And
yeah,
and and you know, the narrator doesn't know who that is.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And he's like, no, I'll go get all the records. And Sonny's like, I don't care if you listen to this music. That's not what this is about. But this is what I want to do.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what matters. And you know, the narrator's desperate for Sonny to finish school. Sonny's like, I don't need to finish school. I don't need to do this just because this is what people are meant
expect,
to do.
yeah,
Um, but what he really wants is for Sonny to live with Isabel and her parents, because the narrator's still in the army at this point. He's still got to go back and not be at home looking after Sonny.
yeah,
And he kind of has a fight with Sonny about this. Sonny wants to go hang with jazz musicians and, you know, get his bohemian lifestyle on. And the narrator's like, no, you need to finish school. You need to live with Isabel
yeah.
and her parents
Almost
where they
like
can look after
almost
you.
like trying to make it. He's trying to make the Sonny's life the way his life is ordered, like to
Yeah.
trying to almost mimic the path in a way. Like
Yeah.
yeah, Sonny's not going. I don't think Sonny's going to go into the army, but being like in the house with the family could be have the structure of the army in ways like this.
Well, Sonny does want to go to the army.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't. I thought.
Because he says, uh, Sonny just wants to get out of Harlem. And he says, I want to join the army or the navy. I don't care. If I say I'm old enough, they'll believe me. So he must be under 18 still.
Mm-hmm.
And the brother gets mad about this
Why? Why?
because
Yeah,
I think because he's in the army and he knows, if there might have been the Korean War. I don't remember exactly what time frame this was. But there would have been wars going on,
oh, so he would have been
and
like
and he doesn't
a
really want
dangerous
his
friend.
brother to be in danger. And Sonny's like, no, because when I come out, then I'll have the GI Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother says, if you come out, he's like,
Mm.
please be reasonable. He's like, I know that going and staying with Isabel's parents is not ideal, but please just stick with it for a year, until you finish school.
Yeah.
And he's kind of begging him, and he's like, but when I get back, I promise I'll help you do whatever you want to do. Just please go live with Isabel and her parents. Just stick it out. And he says, Sonny, you hear me? And Sonny says, I hear you, but you never hear anything I say.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Again, is that it's like you can't you talk to your a parent and they're so concerned with trying to give you instruction that they don't
Hmm.
even hear you sometimes,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
and that's difficult, and that's it's a good line. It's like, yeah, it's even like you said that he doesn't push back the whole jazz thing. It's like, oh, I'll get some records and I'll do all this thing. It's still like the jazz is supposed to the meaning of his interest in jazz has to do with the freedom of it and the life,
Yeah.
and he's
And
still
yeah,
trying to find some.
Sonny doesn't care if his brother listens to jazz because it's
Yeah,
not about him making everyone love jazz.
yeah, yeah. Well, at this point in the story, he doesn't really understand that. He just sees it
Yeah.
as, oh, you're gonna be like this guy. This is whatever. Like the, the narrator seems like someone who just knows the most popular thing of that. If he
Yeah.
likes country music, he'll say someone like a popular country musician. Like I just don't see I don't think he sees. He's very
No,
kind of
but
vanilla.
yeah. But Sonny sees this as something to work at. He doesn't see it as an easy way out
No,
of,
no,
not go, just because he doesn't want to go to school doesn't mean he doesn't want to learn. He wants to work at being a jazz musician. He
yeah,
doesn't want to just
the
phone
toil
it
of it
in.
all. Yeah,
Yeah, but the narrator says something that changes Sonny's mind, or at least gets Sonny to play along. He says they've got a piano at Isabel's. You can practice on it.
yeah, that's
And
good.
Sonny says, "Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that." And he decides to stay with Isabel.
Yeah,
Um, he doesn't really live with them though. He
mm-hmm.
plays the piano. He plays the piano a lot, and it, it's a bit difficult for everyone in the house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
um, Isabel finally confessed that it wasn't like living with a person at all. It was like living with a sound. And the sound didn't make any sense to her, didn't make any sense to any of them, naturally. I love that. I love that description. It's not like living with a person, it's like living with a sound.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I think Isabel is very accommodating to a point,
Hmm.
and then the truth comes out.
Yeah. Well, but she said that to her husband.
Yeah, yeah.
She didn't
I don't
say
think she
it to
wants to hurt. Yeah, she
Sonny.
didn't want to hurt Sonny's
Yeah.
feelings. No.
Her parents and her are putting up with it for Sonny's sake.
Yeah,
Um, and the brother kind of finally gets it after hearing how things are going back at home. He's 1,000 miles away, but he finally gets that Sonny was playing that piano, playing for his life. It's
yeah,
it's kind of desperation for Sonny.
yeah, yeah. Like I don't. He's probably playing as all the time at the detriment
Um,
of everybody else.
yeah, but they find out that even though the whole point was he's supposed to stay there, finish his high school, then, when the narrator's back, they can figure out what they're going to do with Sonny's life. Uh but they find out that he hasn't been going to school.
Yeah,
And Isabel is really upset about it. Um and she yells at him.
yeah,
And Sonny doesn't play the piano that day. Uh, well, Isabel's mother actually yells at him.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but Sonny doesn't play the piano that day, and in fact, he gathers his things and he goes.
yeah,
And Isabel only finds out because she goes into his room one morning before work. It's a few days after this yelling incident.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and all of his records are gone. Um,
I love the line. The silence of the next few days must have been louder than the sound of all the music ever played since time
yeah,
began. Like it
yeah.
was like this, like this little, you feel bad because at one
Hmm.
time that this music was filling the house, or even if to their annoyance sometimes, but not having any music, it's almost like it was like foreshadowing something bad was going to happen. The lack of noise was like
Hmm.
a thing in itself, a sense of like
Yeah,
a sense of worry, and maybe a
yeah,
little bit of guilt, like maybe I was a little too hard on him.
yeah. Well, Sonny joins the Navy, and he eventually sends a postcard from Greece, and that's the first his brother knows he's still alive after that incident.
Mm.
And they don't see each other until they're both back in New York. So both of them have finished their military service. They're both back in New York.
The war is over. War is over,
Yeah,
which
the
is good.
war's over. Um, they see each other sometimes, but they fight every time they see each other.
Yeah.
Um, and one day he goes to where Sonny lives to find him, and he realizes that the people that Sonny lives with, he treats like family, and he doesn't treat his brother like family at all.
Hmm.
And that makes him mad. And then he fights with Sonny. Like it's just this cycle, and it's not good for either of them,
Yeah.
and you have to like wonder like how could they break out of this, you
I don't know
know?
if they can. It's gonna, yeah, it's this, towards the end of the story. I think that they have an understanding, but not to be too revealing, but uh, yeah,
We'll get
it's like
there.
it really it's hard because again he's seeing his brother act like with other people and kind of, and he's trying to say like, oh, why is he not like that with me, and he doesn't realize this is because this the narrator is you, like you're
Mhm.
the issue, like that's like your
Yeah.
overbearingness,
Mhm. Mhm.
maybe, and your lack, your inability to listen as much as, but you might have done everything in life on paper that is much different from Sonny, but you're blind to anything that any other trajectory than your own. Like it doesn't make sense to you. It's like almost like everybody has to grow up the way you did
Yeah.
and do the things you did and have.
um yeah, and this fight kind of is how the two of them stop speaking,
Yeah.
because he walks out, and that's the last he sees of Sonny until he reads about him in the paper.
Wow. Okay, so that much of a gap. I
Yeah,
see.
and when he says that he reads about Sonny in the spring, and Gracie dies in the fall.
Yeah.
So it's quite some time between Sonny's friend telling him you need to look after your brother to him
Y-
actually reaching out to his brother.
Yeah. Yeah. To which really brings up a good point. He's older and was forced into the parenting role. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happens a lot with siblings. Like you can't be a you can't grow up and be a kid and be a parent.
Hmm.
And you definitely, it's hard to be a brother and a parent too in the same sense. Like he can't be his
Yeah.
cool companion and also be his dad. And I think at times
Yeah.
he's trying to do that, and it's just not working out. And he's like, why is it not working out? Like why is my brother acting? Why do you like these people on the street and the clubs are more of a family to my brother when
Hmm.
I'm his real brother?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just because you have, like Twitch was saying, you have a dual role that's not for the person. Like it's doesn't make Sonny feel welcomed. Probably makes him feel like he's on eggshells.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
That's true.
so we are on.
Page. Oh, I've lost the page
Ooh, the
numbers.
the pages numbers have been
They've gone
gone
away.
away. It's okay. We can figure it out.
It must be.
Oh yeah, they've got another one too. I know where I am, but like I just said,
Yeah. There was a break in the on the at the top of the page. It says, "You're gonna need me, baby, one of these cold, rainy days," and then we go into talking about Gracie. Uh, it turns out Gracie died of polio.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
and he, you know, he describes what happened. That she got sick, but it didn't seem like a big deal. They just kept her in bed for a couple days, and then she kind of was back. They didn't even call a doctor because her fever dropped and she seemed all right. It must have just been a cold. But then Isabel's in the kitchen and she's making lunch for the boys who just come home from school, and she hears Grace fall down in the living room.
Mm.
She hears like the thump as she falls down, and then silence. And that silence makes her afraid because
Yeah.
if a kid cries, then they're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's. Oh wow. That's a hell of a visual. Just kind of thinking about that. You just hear a thump. You expect to hear a cry or some kind of like, oh
yeah, because
man,
if they fall
ouch.
and then they cry or they make some interjection, that they're fine. Um, but Grace was quiet.
Chilling it, kind of
Um,
chilling visual right there. You know.
yeah, so she goes in. Grace is on the floor, all twisted up. And the reason she didn't scream is because she couldn't breathe.
Wow.
Um, and when she did scream, it was the worst sound, Isabel says, that she'd ever heard all of her life, and she still hears it sometimes in her dreams. Um, she has nightmares, and sometimes it wakes up her husband. And the day that they buried Grace is the day that he wrote his brother,
Mm.
because his trouble made Sonny's trouble real for him, and he thought of him.
That's a good point. Like, why did and then again going back to um the narrator, the brother, the older brother, did everything right, yet he couldn't
Hmm.
escape this fate. He couldn't escape this this situation.
Yeah.
So it's almost it's. I feel like it's. I don't think the brother likes to admit when he's wrong, or like maybe at that point he goes, maybe I was wrong. I tried to do everything the right way and do all this stuff, and I like act. I pretend like I could avoid catastrophes, but I can't.
Hmm.
So why am I? Who like if I thought I did, maybe I don't have it right. Maybe I don't have this life map
Hmm.
that the way I think I do. And maybe I think at that point he's thinking about his brother like, man, I've been this enforcer of structure for my brother, yet I look at me, I can't control shit.
Yeah.
So maybe I have to reach out. Like that was to me. That's why I thought he reached out,
Yeah.
because
That makes sense.
he saw it in himself. Like, man, I've been hard. I've been wrong a lot, and I just maybe I don't admit it sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe if I do, my brother will be closer to me. It's good as some. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a it's a nice self. For someone who has been kind of being like the parent,
Hmm.
it's a moment of self reflection.
Yeah. But that said, he still feels like he has to look out for Sonny. He
Yeah.
still feels like he's in that parental role,
Yeah.
because we jump to 2 weeks after Sonny's come to stay with them. Everybody's out of the house. Isabel's taking the boys to see their grandparents. Sonny's out someplace, and he's drinking a beer in his house. The narrator's drinking a beer in his house, trying to build up the courage to go check Sonny's room. He wants to see if there's any drugs in it. He wants to see if there's any sign that Sonny's backsliding. Because
Mm.
you remember at the start of the story, the friend of Sonny's said that you get out and you just work your way back in.
Yeah.
So he's looking for Sonny to break again, just because he thinks that's how it goes. Um, but he also feels guilt in that, so he doesn't. He's working his way up to trying to do that. He doesn't want to be this person who's checking up on his little brother.
Yeah.
Um, so he's standing there looking out his front window. Um, and he sees this religious group outside.
Yeah.
There's a couple women, there's a guy, the man is testifying. When he finishes, there's a woman with a tambourine. They all start singing. Um, they're singing songs that everybody knows. It says, "Not a soul under the sound of their voices was hearing this song for the first time. Not one of them had been rescued." So he's like, they're singing this song. We all know it. It never worked before. It's not going to work now.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but he gets kind of caught up watching these people. Um, he kind of can't tear his eyes away from him. He's watching it, and as he's the woman, like when they stop the song, the woman uses the tambourine as a collection plate, and then she puts the money aside, and then they start singing again. Um, and uh, in the midst of this, Sonny appears, and he drops some money in the tambourine for these people, and then he starts coming back towards the house. So the brother misses his window.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's not going to get to check his room. But he is also kind of relieved because there's Sonny, and
He's looking good.
now he doesn't. Yeah, he's looking good. He doesn't have to. He has money to donate to these church people. So um, and Sonny invites him uh to go out with him
Yeah.
to the jazz bar. And he doesn't really want to go, but he also feels like he can't say no.
Yeah. He's trying to make. I feel like part of him also trying to make up for lost time. Like, look at my brother's reaching out,
Yeah.
and he wants to bring him.
For maybe coming down on him.
Yeah.
Because maybe there's a little bit of guilt there too, that if he just let his brother do what his brother wanted, maybe his brother wouldn't have gotten into the trouble that he got into.
Yeah.
Maybe some of that came from not having support from his family. Again, all of that is what ifs, but those kind of things are what weigh on a person's mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, Sonny invites him, and he says, "Look, you can come tonight." Um, and the narrator says that he'll try. Uh, and Sonny kind of starts talking about the woman singing.
Yeah.
And he says, when she was singing before, her voice reminded me for a minute of what heroin feels like sometimes when it's in your veins. It makes you feel sort of warm and cool at the same time, and distant and sure. It makes you feel in control. Sometimes you've got to have that feeling.
Hmm. And I mean, I'm trying to probably scare the shit out of the narrator, to be honest.
Yeah, well, he's like,
Um,
oh, he's talking about heroin.
yeah, yeah. But also, it's like I feel like Sonny was telling his brother that in an abstract way, using this analogy to say, hey, um, you sometimes that you think you have control, and just like your life, you try to be so controlled, but and it's like we all try to gain some control. Like like Sonny's control is different from the brother's older brother's control, but it's still trying
Mm-hmm.
grasping at trying to this of trying to find order.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of maybe he's Sonny's kind of telling that to the brother as a way like, hey, um, we all try to seek control, but we don't have it
Yeah.
in this fleeting world.
And it is a conversation that's very difficult for the narrator to be part of, you know.
Yeah,
He doesn't want answers, but he has to ask the questions,
yeah.
you know. So he's like, do you need that feeling?
God, it's such
And and
it's the work.
and Sonny's very, very honest in this moment. And I think he's trying to reassure his brother in a way by being so honest, but it also scares his brother because he's like, you know, he says sometimes, and some people do need that. And his brother's like, in order to play, and like he knows that he's starting to get angry. He knows that the emotions are starting to come out in his voice, but Sonny kind of comes to this conversation very even,
Yeah,
and he says, you know, well, sometimes some people think they do need it for to play the music, and if they
yeah,
think they do, then they do. I mean, he doesn't say those words exactly, but that's what he's implying, that
yeah,
if
yeah,
they think
yeah,
they need it, then they need it.
yeah.
um and and the narrator says, but what do you think? And I love this description, and I think probably anyone who felt the need to partake in any substance probably understands this feeling. He says, it's not so much to play, it's to stand it, to be able to make it at all on any level in order to keep from shaking to pieces.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really good line. Um, I I commented. I said dork. That might have been a little harsh for the older brother, but I just think that it's so hard for him just to be in the moment. Like his
Hmm.
the older brother this can't chill for a second. Everything is like you're gonna do heroin. You're gonna do heroin. You're gonna do heroin.
Yeah. Are you
And
gonna do
I
heroin?
was like, just listen to your brother for a second. Explain, like navigate this feeling. Your brother, like just because you have a feeling,
Yeah.
you go there for a moment doesn't mean that you're there. Like,
Well,
oh
and
my
also
god,
I think him talking about it in this way, in this calm way, is actually him dealing
therapeutic.
with it in a healthy
Yeah,
manner.
yeah. Yeah, this. I mean, if he was real cagey, I would be more worried for Sonny and his
Hmm.
and his outlook. But the fact that he could like almost like pontificate about the effects of heroin and how some people need it and some people don't. Like it's, I feel like that
Hmm.
in itself shows that he's in a different place.
Yeah.
Um, but to which they said that there has always been a jazz and heroin. Yeah, there. And like, but like the brothers, like I told you, the brothers super vanilla. He's looking at he's the kind of guy who goes, "Oh, you like reading? You like Stephen King?" Like everything is just like it
Hmm.
has to be a popular version. He doesn't understand jazz and experience and as like some transcendental the maybe the psychedelic properties of playing jazz music and the possible like what it means on a philosophical level for people. And I feel like that's where Sonny's going and talking about, whereas like the brother just sees jazz as like a genre of music. So yeah, spiritual jazz, as Tony says. So it's like, but again, I do. He does. I think after the narrator's the death of his child, he, he's starting to be a little open up more to admit that maybe he doesn't have all the answers. He's willing to
Hmm.
listen for probably the first time in his life,
Yeah.
especially to his brother. But it's a start, which I'm happy. It's a slow.
Yeah.
It's great. It's nice to see, like, you can follow these as the story goes on. You can see his brother, the narrator, kind of starting to see it
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Yeah,
Um,
it says, and something told me that I should curb my tongue, that Sonny was doing his best to talk, that I should listen.
yeah. He's starting to see it. He's starting to see it.
Um, and Sonny describes the situation, he's like, some guys you can tell from the way they play, they're on something all the time, and you can see that. Well, it makes something real for them. Like Sonny isn't saying that he's got to do this in order to play. He's just saying that he understands that some people do need it, or that that's how they get where they're trying to go with it. Um,
Yeah.
he's I think Sonny doesn't want to go back to it,
No, no, no.
but he also understands that it's
It's
not
part of it. Yeah.
100% his choice.
Yeah.
You know, this desire for it is in him,
Yeah.
whether he
He,
wants it or not.
and again, this lack of control. I don't care how much rehab Sonny has. I don't know. I don't care how many 12-step programs he goes into. There's still a
Hmm.
possibility. Like, he's still an addict, and
Yeah.
he could fall. He could fall at any minute, and that's actually
Yeah.
a good. That's what they in, like, AA. They tell you, you go to those meetings, like, hello, I'm an alcoholic. Even the people who were sober for 25 years, they still say they're alcoholics because,
They're still because they are.
yeah, and it's like
It's not something you're cured from. There's actually a guy at my work who doesn't drink because his father was an alcoholic and he could see the tendency in himself. So he
yeah,
didn't want to ever get to that point. But I would say, technically, he's an alcoholic. He's never drank himself into a blackout. But he recognized it in himself without getting to the point where it was a problem.
yeah. But I think it's a humbling thing. It for it's. I think that you can't, if you have that framework,
Hmm.
you can't get too sure of yourself,
Yeah.
and you could even say, an extension of that, the narrator is sometimes too sure of himself that he has everything right.
Yeah.
So it's like the younger is teaching the older at this point.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, and they're talking about suffering.
yeah, yeah,
And Sonny doesn't think there's any way to not suffer in life.
yeah,
But he also believes that you should still try to stop yourself from suffering. He's like, everybody's going to suffer. That's just the way it's going to be. But
yeah,
that doesn't mean you just sit there and take it.
yeah. Suffering is inevitable, and what's the word I'm looking for?
Inevitable.
Inevitable. Yes, thank you. Had a tongue twister for a second.
That's okay.
My Red
I,
Bull.
I what did I say? What did I say earlier? I called somebody fat instead of saying two separate words. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
um, so yeah, the brother is just he's real concerned about Sonny, and he says he doesn't care about other people. He just cares how Sonny suffers. And he says, I don't want to see you die trying not to suffer.
Yeah.
And Sonny says, I won't die trying not to suffer, at least not any faster than anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we talk about James Baldwin, some of these themes of
Hmm.
society. Like, it's, I think for him, I think Sonny, he's suffering trying to fit in this framework of society. Like, it's very hard for him just to do what you're supposed to do. Like that's
Hmm.
the it makes sense for the older brother in a way,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
for him, it's almost to even to live like the older brother would put him in a suffering state because it kind of goes against his aura.
Oh, absolutely. This is the thing. And I think Sonny post rehab has a really good idea of who he is now.
Yeah, in a way,
He
like yeah,
he
yeah,
he knows what he needs, and it he he's trying to let his brother in on this, and
yeah,
let his brother know that what works for his brother isn't going to work for him. And
yeah,
I think that's why he invites him to the jazz night. I
yeah,
think he wants his brother to see him in his place
yeah,
thriving.
yeah, yeah. Because we that's how he fights his suffering, and even I think Twitch was she was saying he will always suffer fighting heroin addiction, whether he's sober or not. It's true, but I feel like
Yeah.
heroin actually gave him some answers, or gave him this made possibly living in general, this living
Hmm.
easier because he's like, well, I'm suffering already trying to stay sober, so I'm like, if I can't maybe prior to heroin he wanted to live his life free of suffering. He was
Hmm.
like this artist that doesn't want to even interact with the world, and he feels like if he interacts with
Hmm.
the world then he is suffering it. But like
Hmm.
the fact that he did heroin and he was almost encountered a different kind of suffering.
Yeah.
uh
Well,
Now he almost like he's like,
withdrawal
well,
was the
yeah,
withdrawal experience was suffering he never wants to feel again. And it's
exactly.
something he can avoid.
But he's also saying, but it also gave him a taste of suffering. And he goes, well,
Hmm.
if I could be on heroin and taste, get through that suffering, then I could probably get through the suffering of life. Like, how do I get through the suffering of life? Maybe I have to play jazz music in the club. Like, this is
Yeah.
how I deal with it. This is how some
Hmm.
people play golf. Some people,
Yeah.
like his brother. I don't know. I don't even know what his brother does. I think he just goes to work and comes home. But like, but I'm saying like this is something that I think maybe heroin gave. It's like it's almost like I'm upselling heroin, but but I'm saying that heroin gave him. It's like he goes, shit. I could stop. I'm suffering anyway doing this, and I've suffered before. So maybe I'm a little dramatic saying that I can't live through this life. I can't. I'm not like my brother, but it's okay because
Hmm.
I could live. I could live with some suffering. Almost like I could live with some pain. I have arthritis. I could live through it. I'm still
Hmm.
around. It's not. I can't just shimmy through life without getting hurt. I've had my
Yeah.
experience with heroin. Like that's what I mean. I'm not with me, but like with the character. So it's like it gave him. I feel like it gave him
Oh,
a new
I
lease.
was like, are you revealing something to us
No,
now?
no, no, not me. No, 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 not me.
I mean, so
That's too bougie for me.
my my father loves heroin.
Yes.
Loves it.
Well, wow.
But his best friend OD'd on heroin. And he made the decision then that he wasn't going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
My father was lucky that he does have a very addictive personality, but he can swap his addictions. He's
Yeah.
he's always been able to do that. So he swapped addictions. He became very religious for a time. That's how I came to be. And then he wasn't religious anymore and he swapped his addiction again. But my dad still thinks of heroin fondly. He still says it's the best feeling he ever had in his life. Um, and it gives you some dopamine. That's the
Yeah. Yeah.
the chemical side of it. But my dad also knew that he didn't want to end up like his best friend.
Yeah.
So he made the
Yeah.
choice to not do that. Um, and I think that Sonny's making that choice to not go back down that path.
Yeah. 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 But doing it in a way that I just think like it's like this is how I'm gonna do it. It might be different from you, but
Mm.
this is the way it works for me. And he wants to take bring almost like take his brother into that world. Say, listen, I just want you to meet me in the middle for a moment. This is how I deal with my suffering. You may deal with your suffering by I don't know doing a crossword.
Yeah. You really think this brother is just a
I,
square, don't you?
I think he's so square. I think he's super square. Um, Sonny's so much cooler.
It's true.
He's so
That is
cool.
true.
This guy's such a square. Baldwin didn't even give him a name.
Right? It's like you don't need a name, it's fine.
Yeah,
Um
square.
his
Yeah,
name is
that's
Square.
yeah.
Um
Um, but yeah, so let's. So I want to go. I mean, I think we should go to the club scene.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
nice.
So they go to the club. Um it is the only nightclub on a short dark street downtown.
Mm,
Um they squeeze through the crowd, and then Sonny is with his people, you know?
yeah.
Guy says hello to him. They start praising him, you know? They're like, we're glad he gets introduced. The big tall guy is named Creole. He's very glad to meet him. He says, "You've got a real musician in your family."
Mm,
Sonny is beloved in this group.
yeah. Yeah. This is his environment.
Yeah, everyone knows who he is, or almost everyone. Um, it's it's Sonny's world. It's
Yeah.
Sonny's kingdom. This is where he belongs, and the narrator sees it. You
Yeah.
know,
Probably for the
it
first time.
it kind of hits him. The last time he went to see Sonny, where Sonny was with the people that he cared about and he felt at home with, he fought him.
Yeah.
He was mad about it. He was jealous. But this time he comes to it much more open,
Yeah.
much more
Well,
willing
he's not
to
thinking of
accept it.
himself. He's like, how come these kids?
No.
How come instead of saying why are they cool with my brother and I can't be cool like that?
Hmm.
He's saying, okay, he's shutting up for a change, and he's saying, okay, let me just take it all in.
Hmm.
I think he loves the effect it's having, like that. He loves the effect of seeing Sonny in this room and seeing people light up,
Hmm.
and and probably he's maybe it's always been like that in ways. He was
Hmm.
so his brother's so wrapped up in how he wants to view the world that he didn't let himself see that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, this key.
But he just takes it in here, and I think that really speaks to how much he wants to try and connect with Sonny.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and I think this is maybe the first time he's listening to music while paying attention to the musicians.
yeah, yes,
Every other time he's listened to music, he's just listened to music.
yeah. It's background noise.
But now he's watching them play it, and he's watching how it happens. The
Yeah,
interaction between the musicians, the look on Sonny's face as he starts to play the piano, the way the crowd is reacting to them.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
he's not just listening to this music, he's taking the whole experience in. He describes the like Creole as having a dialogue with Sonny while they're playing their instruments.
yeah, yeah,
It's just he says the face I saw in Sonny I've never seen before.
yeah, yeah. There's a line here
Um
that like all I know about music is that not many people ever really hear it.
Yeah.
So
And
he,
even then, on rare occasions when something opens within and the music enters, what we mainly hear or hear corroborated as personal, private, vanishing evocations.
yeah,
So,
but the man who created the music is hearing something else, is dealing with
hmm
all these things. Yeah, it's like this whole exchange is just foreign to the older brother.
hmm
Like he's if anything, he's used music as a job
yeah. But for
and
these
nothing
guys,
more. Well,
it's something they have to
he's
do.
seeing psychedelic, the the psychology of it all, and
Yeah.
the spiritualness of the jazz, and it's he's blown away.
Yeah. Oh, we got page numbers again. I'm 46.
Yeah.
I'd like to read the last paragraph there. He said, "Yet watching Creole's face as they neared the end of the first set, I had the feeling that something had happened, something I hadn't heard. Then they finished. There was scattered applause, and then, without an instant's warning, Creole started into something else. It was almost sardonic. It was Am I Blue? And as though he commanded, Sonny began to play. Something began to happen, and Creole let out the reins. The dry, low black man said something awful on the drums. Creole answered, and the drums talked back. Then the horn insisted, sweet and high, slightly detached perhaps, and Creole listened, commenting now and then. Dry and driving, beautiful and calm and old. Then they all came together again, and Sonny was part of the family again. I could tell this from his face. He seemed to have found, right there beneath his fingers, a damn brand new piano. It seemed that he couldn't get over it. Then, for a while, just being happy with Sonny, they seemed to be agreeing with him. That brand new pianos certainly were a gas.
Yeah. And it's like again, it kind of alludes to Sonny's the thing he said about control. Like we think we have control, but we don't, and sometimes, but we have to just kind of vibe along with it, do our
Mm-hmm.
best to go along, and in that moment, like they went to a different song, and there was a couple minutes where he was grasping for anything, for trying to figure out what to play, and then he settled
Mm-hmm.
in. But there was like the doesn't mean that when the floor gives way that you freak out all the time. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
you got to kind of feel your way back into the song. It's very analogous to life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it is times when it just seems not unbearable, but like uncontrollable. Yet we kind of in one breath we get back to it and we forget that it even was a problem. It seemed like a problem to head on, but like maybe in hindsight it's not, it wasn't as bad as we thought. So it's like it's good to get out of the control a little bit, and maybe
Yeah.
out that lack of control is the suffering
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah. And this music, the way and it touches the brother.
Yeah,
It gets into his core
yeah,
because he says, "For while the tale of how we suffer and how we are delighted and how we may triumph is never new, it always must be heard. There isn't any other tale to tell. It's the only light we've got in all the darkness."
yeah. Um, and I mean, I think it's having a profound effect on the older brother because even approaching music like that or seeing something beyond the surface level, what
Mm-hmm.
is it going to say about the rest of his life? Like, I don't think he's going to
Yeah.
come out. He's going to come out this club changed. He's not gonna organize a sock drawer
No.
and worry about like,
I think he's gonna go buy records and this time do it for the right reason
yeah,
because he wants to.
yeah. Like he's
Or
not
maybe
gonna.
he's gonna go to the jazz club every weekend.
He
You
is, and
know.
maybe he's not gonna say like, oh yeah, I love jazz, Neil Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to be this on the outskirts, just judging things for what they are, and like maybe and having fear when something goes beyond the surface. You know who he is, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say, right? What's the
Go on.
Philistine?
Yep.
He is. He's a Philistine. This is a Philistine awakened.
Mm-hmm. It's
This,
the Philistine de-Philistining.
yeah. Yes. Yes. Um. I like. Can we read the last line over here, or would you read it?
The last line of the
Shiny.
story?
Yeah. The last paragraph.
The last paragraph. Then it was over. Creole and Sonny let out their breath, both soaking wet and grinning. There was a lot of applause, and some of it was real. In the dark, the girl came by, and I asked her to take drinks to the bandstand. There was a long pause while they talked up there in the indigo light, and after a while, I saw the girl put a scotch and milk on top of the piano for Sonny. He didn't seem to notice it, but just before they started playing again, he sipped from it and looked toward me and nodded. And then he put it back on top of the piano. For me, then, as they began to play again, it glowed and shook above my brother's head like the very cup of trembling.
Yeah. That's a beautiful. Almost like I almost thought of like a halo on top of the
Yeah,
brother. Like you saw his brother in like this, like almost reawakened this role that was just foreign to him.
hmm
Um, yeah, I always thought about this story as being slightly utopian because
Mm.
I don't feel we want this to happen.
Yeah.
We want the person on the outside to understand the drug addict or to understand maybe a different line of thinking. Like
Yeah.
I think that most people through life, this experience that happened with the brothers doesn't really play out often, if at all.
Yeah. No,
People just stuck in their ways. They,
unfortunately,
they get stuck in their ways.
yeah.
They're never gonna get out of their societal constraints and put themselves in a situation to change. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but it's just more often than not, um, everyone
It's more
the,
rare.
it's rare, yeah, that the person like almost like the artist is gonna get the validation from the person in the family, like, oh, this is what you do. Oh, I understand you. Um,
hmm
it was like
It
like
does. It
we
does
read
happen.
yeah. I mean, it's like kind of like our stories. Like we've the last couple stories we've read, it had to do with characters who were almost like piecing together the version of the life they thought was.
hmm
Like maybe they pieced together memories in a way that they felt was a better story. Can you remember that one about the nun that she was kind of talking about her life and she wrote this whole uh, narrative and she sat in that creative writing class and
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
and
What
she
was that
was
story?
if she was talking, I think it was not Tobias Wolff, it was somebody else. It was Richard Russo. I think it was
Richard Russo.
my
Yeah.
mother that something about horror.
Oh yes, yes. I remember now.
Yeah.
Um, the horror's
Child.
child or
The
the horror?
horror's
Yeah, the
child.
horse
Yeah.
child.
Like she there was something about I thought of that story with this because like I think authors like they try to piece together their reality a little bit not nicer,
hmm
neater.
Yeah.
Uh and I don't know, I feel like maybe Baldwin maybe there was someone in his life that he wanted to be understood, that maybe it was his father, like maybe it was somebody that he was hoping would have to understand him. It comes across like a story where like Sonny is Baldwin and hope like and he hasn't done, and in the story maybe Baldwin in his own life didn't have the opportunity to for someone to see to get that understanding or to be understood, whereas this character was finally understood. The older brother understands his little brother now, but I just don't. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen a lot. People grow through life who think like Sonny, think they grew up alone, ostracized, never really. Either they have to make a choice. They live or and interact with the bohemian crowd, like a club like this, or they're. But in terms of society, they don't really fit in. Baldwin does a great job as like merging these two lines of thought, putting someone from the outside and then put them in this club, and then also having like this the by seeing his little brother in this light forces him to like question his own life. And you would think that if his story can go on, it would spur on, like he would go on buying records. I don't know. Maybe his brother's gonna do heroin now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's
Just one time.
just one time. Let's try it out. He's like it's like a plea for let's just try to understand each other sometimes, because we in our efforts in understanding we may change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twitch says, I think it's about Baldwin in terms of New York, Harlem. Yeah, maybe it's just like someone maybe like Harlem as like a person in a sense, like it's like
Yeah.
like understanding Harlem, understanding like why do you have to move to Paris? Maybe he felt ostracized or not, and maybe Harlem's understanding him.
Yeah, there were quite a few like reasons cited for him moving to Paris. Um, some of it was obviously the racism that he saw in the U.S. Some of it was the Calvinism, um, and some of it was just needing to get away, which I understand completely, needing to get away from the place where you are seen a certain way
Yeah,
to go
yeah,
find out who you are.
yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like I couldn't ever be who I was where I was living in America. And I maybe didn't need to go all the way to Scotland to do it, but I needed out of where I was.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's. I was thinking of you too for that. I was like, oh, look at it, all these people jumping ship.
Yeah.
But
But again, my
but
mother's even said to me, she's like, you could have just gone to Seattle.
yeah, but also, but
But
you gotta. It wasn't Paris a lot during that time. I think they were making leaps in terms of like.
oh, it would have been easier to be queer.
Yeah,
It
in
it would have
Paris.
been easier to be uh, a leftist. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
they're Paris, because of France's, strangely, because of France's colonization of so many places in Africa, there probably were more uh black people in Paris
yeah,
that were treated well. Um
yeah. There was.
there
I
was
mean,
also, because there was Haiti as well. So,
yeah,
there was a lot of French colonies
intersectionality. Yeah.
in yeah, yeah. I'm not saying they were devoid of racism. They
No,
probably
no,
were
no.
not,
But I feel like it
but
was
it
a.
might have been less blatant, less
And he could
constant.
and he could be who he wanted to be over there,
Yeah.
like you said.
You know, nobody balked at the fact that he was hanging out with a bunch of white people, which might have been looked at a certain way in America, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like Paris was more at his level, in terms of like intellect, like was intellectually there compared to
Yeah.
he was not like wigging out over that. They wouldn't like the stuff that they would usually maybe have a fuss over in America. That's not like you said is normal there.
Hmm.
Like it just kind of exist there, coexist.
Hmm. But at the same time, for Baldwin, he did go back to the US because
Yeah,
he still wanted it to be better. And
yeah, yeah,
he did work to make it better, even though, as I said, he absolutely refused the title of civil rights activist. um, but he wrote to RFK. He interacted with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. He was not content to let America stay as it was.
yeah, yeah,
So he did what he said. He left, he got external perspective, and then he came back.
yeah, yeah. But fascinating individual.
Mm.
I'm glad we got to do this story. Um, Usually I read the stories beforehand, even if I read them. But I wrote papers on this and spoke extensively on the characters and this dynamic between the brothers on more than one occasion. So I felt it was good. But even then, like it was great hearing you hearing Shiny read these some of these quotes because they kind of this like this poetic
Mm.
elements really come through, and it does a great job. I mean, it was a beautiful depiction of the human condition, how we want to have structure and where we want to escape suffering, yet
Mm.
you know we accept that there's going to be suffering, and it's okay, and it's
It
how
is it is inevitable.
yeah,
And I don't say that to be negative, but I've always I really like I gather songs that have lines in them like those not dying are already dead, because essentially as soon as you're born you start the path to dying. But that's
God,
not depressing to me. That's a reminder to live life,
yeah.
right? Live your life.
I thought that was like a cool. That's like such a goth statement to me. The minute you born, you dying. I always thought that was such. I was like, even for me, I'm such a goth. That's too goth for me. I'm like, okay,
That's too goth for you.
right,
But I the thing is I had such fear about dying, and it caused me such anxiety
yeah,
that that facing that reality actually helps me enjoy life more.
that's good.
So it's actually very cheerful. It's not the gothest thing about me.
I actually I subscribe more to the other saying. It's like I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Yeah,
That
yeah, I
make
bet you are.
that to me that's like a that's my YOLO.
YOLO.
That's like
You
it
know what's
makes
funny? I was in London with my partner, and there's quite a lot of one-way streets in London, and a lot of double-decker buses. And there's a big square called Leicester Square, and it has a Swiss clock in it. It
mm,
was a gift from Switzerland to the United Kingdom, and my partner's Swiss, so we were going to go see the Swiss clock. Um, and we had to cross a road, and there was this youngish person. I would say that he 20 at the outside, maybe.
yeah.
And YOLO was just becoming a thing that people were saying online. And I'd only seen anyone ever type it. I'd never heard anybody say it. And this kid, like, jumps across the road. There's a bus coming. He jumps across the road, says YOLO at the top of his lungs, and just goes running. And
Wow.
I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny to me Because I'd only, like I said, I'd only ever seen it written in text. And my partner's like, the internet has reached reality now. And I was like, yeah, apparently.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, that's yeah. I think that's the first time I think that's the first time said it. Now that I think about it, beyond like I don't think I've typed it. I just couldn't think
I
of
have
anything.
only ironically.
Yes. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's great to have everyone here. Thank you again for joining us for our book club,
Yeah.
our
Thank you,
single
everyone, for
story
coming
book
to book
club.
club.
We're gonna try to keep this
This
consistent.
is grad school book club.
Grad school was a little different. There's homework involved, but no, I think it was great. It was a good time. So
Yeah.
again, thank you again. Enjoy your long weekend for some.
Yeah. Have a good 4th of July to the Americans. 250 years. I mean, that's nothing to us Europeans now.
Exactly. I, used- I used to work with this Polish guy, and he's like, he's like, 4th of July. What is this? This churches in Poland that are older than that.
It's true. It is true.
Oh yeah, I want to do a little shout out to Mr. Taddy Bidet. Is that tonight, right?
Yeah. It's tonight
My
in
man.
how long? Like an hour, Taddy? Is it an hour or an hour and a half? Or 2 hours, I mean. It's soon. It's soon.
1
1 hour. In
hour.
1 hour,
Man.
everyone, you get the joy
thank you, Twitch.
of hearing
Oh,
Taddy sing. And I'm so excited. I'm not just saying this. I am so excited to hear Taddy sing because he sings very well. And even if he doesn't, it's going to be a laugh. So come celebrate 15, is it 1,500 followers? I think. So,
I had a dream last night about Taddy.
Did you?
About this day.
Do tell.
Oh my goodness. He was in the middle of a rainstorm, a torrent,
Oof.
and he was on top of a mountain. It was an animal giving birth, and he was delivering this baby calf in the rain and singing as he's
You
doing
gotta
it.
stop drinking before you go to bed.
Oh my god! It was the funniest thing. I don't even know why he was naked. And
Of course he was.
Yeah, and
Of course
the
he
rain
was.
the rain was like just dribbling down. He's like going into this this rendition of
He still had a mask on though, right?
yes, he had a mask, but he was naked
Oh,
except
okay.
the mask, and he was singing Annie.
Annie.
The whole Annie soundtrack, and it was
All of it.
all of it, and I just couldn't believe it. And I woke up and I said, that's the first time I go, God, I wish I was sleeping again. But then it was just a it was a premonition. I forgot that he's gonna be performing
Please,
today.
Teddy. Hard Knock Life. That's a great song.
Yeah.
Do that one.
Yeah, I mean, I know I can't you can't really reenact what it was in my head last night, but I'm sure he's gonna do a great job.
He is gonna do a great job.
He's not gonna be delivering a calf naked in the rain.
It's gonna be fun. You guys should all attend.
Yeah. Taddy's like, I'm doing a live stream from the top of oh man. I don't even know where I went with that. It was just I was watching it go.
Something.
I was watching it unravel. I was outside myself going, what are you gonna say next? But anyway, if we would rate into him if he was doing it, but I have to go and we have to stop.
Yep.
So but thank you again. Happy holiday, and we'll see you soon.
See everyone.
Bye.
Bye.